All right, let's dive into this absolutely amazing hidden world that's going on inside every single one of us. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on your body's own secret army, the immune system. I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? You are constantly surrounded by germs, bacteria, viruses, all sorts of tiny invaders. So how come you're not sick all the time? Well, the answer is you have this incredibly smart defense force working for you 24/7. So, to really get how this army works, we first need to understand the battlefield. See, your body is always dealing with two major ongoing challenges that need a pretty brilliant solution. So, what are these problems? Well, let's just call them leaky pipes and constant invaders. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a home maintenance nightmare, and honestly, in a way, it kind of is. Okay, first up, the leaky pipes. Your circulatory system, all your blood vessels, is naturally a little bit leaky. A bit more fluid seeps out into your body's tissues than gets pulled back in. At the exact same time, you've got the constant invaders. The outside world is just full of germs trying to find a way in. Your body needs a system that can handle both the plumbing and the security. So let's tackle those leaky pipes first. The solution is this really elegant, massive network that runs through your entire body. Let me introduce you to the lymphatic system. So all that extra fluid that leaks out into your tissues has to go somewhere, right? Well, once it gets collected by these tiny lymphatic vessels, it gets a new name, lymph. A great way to think of it is like recycled water being collected from all over a city to be taken to a treatment plant for cleaning. And its journey is actually pretty cool. The fluid leaks out, it gets picked up by these tiny little capillaries, then it travels through a whole series of bigger and bigger vessels, and eventually it all gets dumped right back into your bloodstream, clean and ready to go around again. It is a perfect recycling system. Now, here's where it gets really clever. This plumbing system, it's also your security system. As the lymph is traveling back, it's forced to pass through hundreds of these little security checkpoints we call lymph nodes. And this is where the fluid gets scanned for any signs of trouble, which brings us right to our second big problem, the invaders. So, what happens when an invader is detected at one of those checkpoints? Well, that's when your body unleashes its first line of defense, the immediate security patrol that is always on duty, your first responders. This is what we call your innate immunity. It's the defense system you were born with, and it's always ready to go. It includes physical barriers, like your skin, but the real action is with its specialized patrol cells. They are super fast acting, and they're not picky. If something looks foreign, they attack it. Simple as that. And let's meet the two main types of these patrol cells. First, you have your macrophages. These guys are the cleanup crew. They're absolute eating machines. They just gobble up germs and cellular junk, and then they live to fight another day. But then you've got the neutrophils. I like to think of them as the kamikaze soldiers. They rush in, they attack the enemy with everything they've got, but they die in the process. And that collection of their dead bodies, that's actually what we see as pus. But, sometimes a local patrol just isn't enough. What happens if the invasion is too big? Well, that's when your body does something truly incredible. It calls in the special forces, the adaptive immune response. Now, these special forces, they're different. They don't just attack blindly. They are highly trained specialists, and they're on the hunt for a very specific target. They learn to recognize something called an antigen, which is just a unique molecule on the surface of an invader. The absolute easiest way to think of it is as the enemy's uniform. So step one is detection. You've got this elite soldier, a special kind of cell called a T cell, and it acts like a detective. It has a receptor that is the exact, perfect shape to fit only one specific antigen. When it finds a perfect match, it's like finding the one critical clue. The alarm bells go off. Once that single T cell is activated, it goes into overdrive. It starts multiplying like crazy in a process called clonal expansion. It's literally building an entire army of identical soldiers, all programmed to hunt for that one specific enemy. Some of these clones, the effector cells, go off to fight the battle right now, while others are set aside as memory cells, so your body can remember this enemy's uniform forever. Now, a ground assault is great, but that's only half the battle. You also need air support, right? Well, that's where the other branch of the Special Forces comes in, the B cells. And you can think of them as the body's high-tech weapons manufacturers. And this works a lot like the T cells. When a B cell finds its matching enemy uniform, it gets activated and starts making clones of itself like mad. Some of those clones become memory B cells to remember the threat for the future. but most of them turn into those incredible weapons factories we just talked about. They're called plasma cells. And what do these factories produce? They start pumping out millions and millions of tiny proteins called antibodies. These things are basically your body's guided missiles. They flood your system, flying through your blood and lymph, and they stick to any invader wearing that specific enemy uniform, flagging them for destruction. Okay, so the battle is won, the invaders are cleared out. The crucial point here is that something amazing is left behind. This is where your body gets its real superpower. It's all about those memory cells, both the T cells and the B cells. They're the key to everything. They stick around, just circulating in your body for years, sometimes for your entire life. And if that same germ with that same uniform ever dares to show up again, the response is so fast and so massive, you probably won't even feel a thing. You are now immune. And there are basically two ways you can get this amazing ability. The first is active immunity. That's when your own body does the hard work. It learns how to fight for itself by creating its own memory cells. But there's also passive immunity. That's when you're just given the ready-made antibodies from someone else, like what a mother passes to her baby. You're not learning to fight, you're just being given the weapons. So just how powerful is this system? Well, get ready for this number. Scientists estimate that your body has the potential to produce up to 100 trillion different types of antibodies. That number is just staggering. It's enough to recognize almost any enemy uniform imaginable. Which leaves us with one final incredible thought. This entire complex, beautiful system is designed to learn from experience, to build a memory that protects you for a lifetime. So the big question is, what could we achieve if we could give our immune system the training manual before the real invasion ever even happens?